Peta-Ann is back. She's the founder of Elegant Rebel and an indie reader approved author, as well as a breast cancer thriver. And we are gonna talk about music, vibration, and colors and frequencies. Very interesting. Let's dive straight in. Hey, Resetters, welcome to a brand new episode. And today is interesting. We're talking about sound with colors and vibrations. That's really just a really basic overview of what we're going to talk about. And we have someone here who's already been on the show talking about her own personal music experiences, but because Peta-Ann's elegant rebel, she doesn't do things by the norm, and hence means she has a little bit of info for us around this topic. And that's why I invited her back. So welcome, Peta-Ann.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for inviting me back. It's so
Yeah,
lovely to be back with all the B-siders.
that's it. We're rocking it. We're really good, the B-siders.
Absolutely.
For those of you who haven't checked out Peta-Ann's first appearance, please do. I will put the link in the episode description. But Peta-Ann is the founder of Elegant Rebel. Now, you can already imagine what that means, but I'm sure she will explain a little bit more in a second. But she's also an author and holistic coach. So you can already see where we're going with this. Now, Peta-Ann, just quickly, Elegant Rebel, what is it?
Like,
So people can get a bit of an idea.
yeah, so Elegant Rebels we take heart-centered action with grace, compassion, and kindness. It's that simple. We don't follow societal norms. We don't just, toddle off and do something because that's what society tells us to do. And for me, just in case folks haven't seen the first episode or don't know my background, one of the big things that I've done in my life was 9.5 years ago, diagnosed with breast cancer, and I chose to stay flat afterwards. And that's when Elegant Rebel was born, because society told me I needed to have reconstruction to become a woman again. And I said,
Mm.
no, I don't need
Mhm.
that. So that's so, but it's kindness, compassion, and grace as well. You don't have to be up in someone's face to be rebellious. So that's where the elegant comes in as well. So that's a really brief overview of elegant being an elegant
Mm.
rebel. Thank
I think it already says a lot. So I think it matches
you.
nicely with the B side because the B side is also not always in society's face.
Mm-mm.
We don't always, do and be what society wants us to be. So I
Yeah.
think nice,
And
nice combo.
it's interesting, the non-societal, you know uh, conforming to societal norms is becoming more prevalent these days,
Mm,
which is great,
yes,
and we'll just keep being elegant about it, that's all.
exactly. And hence why this topic is really interesting too, because it's also not the norm. If people think about
Right.
music, they think of it as entertainment.
Yes, and not as a
Yeah.
vibrational medicine, so to speak.
No.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if people think about it, who are we really? Well, we are part of
Mm.
the universe. We're made out of stardust. The universe
Yeah,
has vibration. It has
yeah,
colors.
yeah,
Even though a lot of it is dark, but then if you see a star, it shines. It's people don't make that connection. So that's why I thought we'd talk about that today. So
yeah. And
obviously we're
isn't
no experts in this. If that's okay to say.
it? Of course it is.
We're just fascinated by this concept and hopefully we'll provide a few ideas that people then
Mm,
either can go and investigate a bit more.
yeah. And I mean, definitely not an expert. I am a color therapist.
Yeah.
So I do, and I have studied energy medicine. So I do have a little tiny bit of knowledge about vibrational medicine. And what I find fascinating is people, just automatically accept that Wi-Fi works and that's an energy that, floats through the ether. But as soon as you start talking about vibrational medicine, it's like, oh, that's weird stuff. It's like, how is it different? How is it different? So
Yeah.
so it's
It's,
it's really,
do you think it could be like, again, society has
oh,
sort of
absolutely.
um trained us to see it that way?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that my first protocol is to go, okay, well, that's what society generally thinks. How do I actually think? Because
Mm.
I know that I wouldn't normally follow that route. So,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that's why I have studied color therapy and vibrational medicine and,
Mm.
you know, I'm I'm even a professional psychic according to a piece of paper I have. So maybe that, and that was to study the science and the history behind all of, they're called divination tools. So that's why I did
Mm-hmm.
that. So it's not, yeah, so it's interesting. Maybe that is exactly why I go, how do you not know? How do you not understand?
Well, some people, you can't blame them or can
Oh
say
God,
you
no.
should know. It's
Oh
just that
no.
maybe they've
Yeah.
never even thought about it because it's never come up
Yeah.
in any conversation, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, absolutely no judgment. None
no,
whatsoever. I
none
just sit there
whatsoever.
going, how do you not know? For those playing at home, I'm also neurodivergent. So I'm autistic and ADHD plus the 50, 50 million other things. And part of being ASD is occasionally you just sit there and go, but how do you not know it? I know it. That doesn't
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't occur to us that other people don't know stuff
Mm-hmm.
that we know. But again, in a
Yeah.
non-judgmental space. But yeah, it's fascinating when you sit back and go, that's interesting. They don't know that. Okay. But
I
yeah,
know.
so with music and color,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, from a science point of view,
Mm-hmm.
both of them are waves. You've got light waves and sound waves. So it's that's where the vibrational energy medicine comes into play. So Newton came up with a theory a gazillion years ago, that your body was like a machine, and that's how you should be treating
Mm-hmm.
illnesses and stuff that happens to your body. Whereas Einstein decided that no, we're a ball of energy, and we need vibrational changes to help our bodies to heal ourselves. So that's where the concept of vibrational medicine comes from. One of the
Mm.
concepts. So a guy called Dr. Gerber, if anyone wants to go down the rabbit hole, he wrote the book Vibrational Medicine. And
Mm-hmm.
so when it comes to color and sound, they intrinsically come together because they're almost identical, except that they're not, because sound is dense and light waves aren't. But they're, I mean, even if you look at the music systems, so what's it called? The 12, like in modern music, what's the term modern music where they turned the scale of seven into the scale of 12?
Oh God,
Um,
yeah, I
yeah,
vaguely remember that. I
yeah,
remember reading about it, but God,
but
yeah.
it's called the chromatic system, which is Greek for color.
Mm-hmm.
So even down to these levels, and in Middle Eastern music and Indian music, rajas are their version of scales.
Mm-hmm.
That means color and mood. So it's even down to the terminology that is
Mm.
used, and even down to like music has tones, color has tones. It's really fascinating when you start to really,
It's almost like it's staring you in the face,
yeah,
but you're just not like consciously making that connection that everything's interconnected and
yeah, absolutely. And then
amazing.
and like sound is measured in hertz.
Mm-hmm.
Color is measured in something called, oh my gosh, I've forgotten what it's called, nanometers, because it's trillion hertz. So it's trillion times
Oh, okay.
what, yeah, yeah. So it's a higher frequency than. So this is all very physics and very science, and I will stop soon because it does my head in.
Yeah,
Um,
please. I know. But at the end of the day, I think what you're trying to say is that everything's connected just from a
oh,
physical level already,
yeah.
you know?
Absolutely. And I encourage anyone, because I mean, I did also study physics. So, I encourage anyone to go down that rabbit hole because it is actually quite fascinating to work out, the different wavelengths. And so I think it's the heavier, the stronger the wavelength. So, red, for example, is
Hmm.
the strongest of the color wavelengths. So that has
Oh,
the not the lower frequencies. It
it's
becomes
okay.
louder if that makes sense.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so
Wow.
it's
You
I'm
can
trying.
really go down a rabbit hole with all that.
You can, but even, I mean, but it's saying the word loud. You can describe music as loud. You can describe color as loud. You can describe music as bold. You can
Yes.
describe color as bold. It's, you know, you've got clear and dark colors. You've got clear and dark music.
It's just
It's,
this interconnected thing is just blowing my mind because and I think maybe, and I know this has nothing so much to do with music, but maybe we don't go there because it makes you realize how tiny we actually are in
yeah,
the whole
maybe that,
scheme of things, and we're
yeah.
not as important as we might been told we actually are,
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
that's fair.
So
That's fair.
maybe that's the
Yeah.
reason why, most people don't go down that
Yeah,
rabbit hole.
it's in it for me, it's just fascinating for
Yeah.
me. Like, and then if you and so music and color both have frequencies for each, you know,
Mm-hmm.
each note has a frequency, each color has a frequency. So
Wow.
when you're doing color therapy, say a simple one is if you feel pain,
Uh-huh.
color therapy, you will be asked, well, I would ask you, what color is it? So if you said to me, Peta-Ann, it is feeling really black, then I would
Okay.
say, okay, and do a process and get you to visualize that pain as red instead of black, because
Okay.
that decreases the pain level from a frequency point of view. And then if you
Oh.
say to me, or if you said to me it was red, I would ask you to change it to blue because that would take the heat out of it and put some coolness into it because blue brings the coolness in.
Hmm.
And then green you bring green in to balance everything out. So that's the frequency of color. Is that's one of the ways you use color
Oh.
from a therapy point of view. Yeah, it's
Wow.
a really simple way of
Yeah, but it makes sense. It makes sense.
yeah.
So my mind goes down the road now. Well, how could we as non-super trained people use this and combine it with actual sound or music? Is that possible?
Yeah,
Do you
absolutely.
think? Have
Absolutely.
you done that
Yeah.
before?
Oh yeah, yeah, I do that every day. Yeah.
Okay, how do you do it? Like, what's your kind of
So
process?
so it's for me it's a really simple process. It's about when I wake up, I ask myself, what color do I need today? It's that
Oh,
simple.
okay.
And then I also, because I'm a cardaholic,
Mm-hmm.
Oracle and Tarot, if
Yep.
I can't make a decision or my brain's going, oh, I think you need fuchsia, and I'm going, no, no, there's no pink in my life. And but you know, sometimes you do need fuchsia.
Yep.
Um, I do have a specific set of cards that are color cards. So I
Yeah.
will pull a card to work to concrete what color. And today I did pull fuchsia. So you know.
Yep.
Um, and that's about changing my environment, which is really interesting from another vibrational point of view. Is when I pulled an oracle card, it was about the home and
Yep.
about new home. So it's interesting how your own energy flows.
Yeah.
So once you choose what color, then you can actually link it to a chakra. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, that's how I do things. So pink is kind of heart chakra. Well, it's heart chakra. Let's just go with heart chakra.
Mm-hmm.
So then heart chakra has a specific well, heart chakra is an F note to be
Mm-hmm.
exact. But it also has a specific frequency, a hertz
Mm-hmm.
frequency.
Right.
So I then play that music based on that color.
So how do you find the music though?
Actually, Spotify.
Oh, you just put in like the frequency that you want to listen to and you suggest, okay.
Yeah, so heart chakra frequency is 639 hertz. So you just search this, you know, music based on 639. So take for example,
Interesting.
I think it's fourth, there's 432. I think it's 432
Mm-hmm.
is the A note that is what all tuning forks are listed off,
Okay.
measured off. It's like the
Mm-hmm.
center node, and it's orange. It's the sacral chakra. So it's your center of balance and power, and that's the center of the anyway.
Anyway, we're going very deep down the rabbit hole, but that's kind
I
of
know, but that's I find that stuff incredibly fascinating how the color and the music all link together.
it
So
is.
so that frequency though is the happy happy joy frequency because it's linked to sunshine and orange.
Mm-hmm.
Um but things like Foreigner has a tune that's played in 432 hertz. There's all these like you can literally go into something like Spotify and go 432 and it'll come up with all these happy, happy joy um tunes
That is so
from
interesting.
from an amazing array of artists. It doesn't have to be meditation music. It can be anything, is what
That's
I'm saying. Yeah.
that's a really good one because I think still a lot of people probably find it really hard to make that time to listen to meditation music when really what you're saying is you don't necessarily need that. You can just get a certain frequency up and have a Spotify play or whatever the playlist
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
there that you can put on when you, for example, at work and you need to be more productive. Just put that frequency on with this playlist and off you go.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I do. So when I'm writing,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not listening to it. It's on in the background because that's the thing with frequency. It actually helps you without you having to do anything. Because
Yeah.
it's that simple. It helps your body realign, balance out. It's kind of like I do Reiki as well. That's another
Yeah.
energy. So that's also balancing people out. So
Mm.
it's all about using the vibrational medicine or the vibration of color, sound, whatever it is, to
Mm-hmm.
just help your body move through whatever it needs to move through and help you. I mean, how is that bad? I love it.
It's amazing. I've got a story. I've had this moment once where I was playing a frequency for I think it was to calm the nervous system down. I can't remember which one it
Oh
was, what
yeah.
frequency, but I've had it on my speaker in the office where I work. And the person who was with me in the office, not really into that kind of stuff. And at first I got to look like, what is this? But after like half an hour, I switched it off, and then that person turned around and said, "You know what? I actually feel a bit calmer." At first, it was annoying,
Yes.
but then I got used to it, and I actually feel better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm
It's
just saying, try it because you
yeah,
never
definitely
know.
try it. And here's the thing is, was she annoyed because you chose it or was she annoyed because she didn't like it?
Probably a bit of both.
Yeah.
I
So
think usually it's
yeah.
quiet where I work with the other
Ah,
person.
yeah, yeah.
But at that time, I just felt like we both needed a shift down
Yeah.
in the whole nervous system needed to come down a notch. And I thought, you know what, stuff this. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was the first few minutes was probably like, oh, I don't really need this from the other person, but then
Yeah.
realizing, oh, it's actually not that
It's amazing.
bad.
It's amazing. Actually, the ABC have run a story today
Yeah.
about the link between music and burnout and getting rid of burnout or stopping burnout.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's
This whole
definitely a thing.
it is. And I think, and I'm glad to say more and more people realizing it, more and more people are talking about it. There's more studies done about it. We're not
Absolutely.
called the woo-woo people anymore.
No, I don't like that
Um,
term. I
I
don't
don't
like it.
like it either because it's not
No.
woo-woo. It's freaking, there's proof that it works. More and
Uh,
more like hospitals. Why do we have music therapy? Music
exactly.
therapy is basically in a health setting supporting the
Yeah.
patient with
Yeah.
musical things.
Yeah. And to be a musical therapist, you actually have to be a musical teacher and then study as a counselor. It's not like, or a psychiatrist. It's not like you're just jumping in off the street.
Exactly. Just
So,
play your guitar and go woo woo. You
yeah,
have to literally put a lot of work to accumulate knowledge.
absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
why should all this with colors and vibration be any different? We just haven't heard enough about it.
Yeah. And
So,
it's like, for me, color is my world. I love color. And
mhm,
I've been working with color for almost 40 years. That's
mhm,
really challenging to say out loud. Um, but there's, the whole psychology of color as well. So when you wake up in the morning and your body and you go, oh, I want to wear blue today, or today for me it was whatever this is, turquoise.
mhm.
There's an actual reason for that. It's because that is what your body is missing. That is the
Oh.
frequency your body is actually requiring on that day. So for me, when I help clients with color, it's like you don't have to, because I wear a lot of black,
Mhm,
and black's actually not a color. But it doesn't mean that I don't have the color I need on, in my underwear or on in a scarf or in my
mhm.
earrings. I always have purple on me because I have to. But yeah, so it's whatever color first, and ask, and I think the thing for me is actually ask yourself,
Mm-hmm.
what is it that you need? What, and it's the same with music. What, today I don't want to listen to, today I wanted to listen to peaceful, calming music.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to listen
Yeah.
to, Pink, or I didn't want to listen to,
Heavy metal or whatever it
God forbid,
is.
Paul Weller. Um, how could I not listen to Paul Weller? But today I just couldn't.
Some
So it's
days
the
you
same
do.
concept. It's because whatever that energy vibration is in that music
Mm-hmm.
is what my body actually needs at that point in time. So it's about listening to your body, and I'm big on that. I'm always on about, what is your soul trying to tell you?
Mm-hmm.
And this is another way through music and color to help your body. I don't want to use the word heal because I'm not a fan of that word, but it's
Support
just,
yourself.
yeah, support yourself, rebalance,
Yes.
get back, not get back because that's, past is
Harmonize,
gone, but
Yeah.
to be your full self, to be as
Mm.
best as you possibly can. And color and music, just my
And
favorite things.
I know I sound like a broken record, and I think I say that every time I have a guest on, but I just feel like we just take it for granted. We just don't know the power music, vibration, color holds,
Yeah.
and how we can use that to help us.
Yes. Yeah.
That's kind of my sticky point that I really have at the moment. It really
Yeah. And
winds me up sometimes, but
I wonder if it's because we're taught for so many years that we have to rely on other people to help us, and we forget that we can do stuff for ourselves, and that we forget that we can actually, help our own bodies be
hmm
the best version that they can be without having to, have some sort of interventional,
hmm
um, surgery, drugs, whatever. And don't get me wrong, I'm not anti that because there is a place, there is a
and a
definite
time for
place
it.
as
Oh,
a breast
absolutely.
cancer thriver. There is a definite place for that.
hmm
But it shouldn't be the first point of call. I mean, Eastern medicine has been around for millennia, and
hmm
for thousands and thousands of years. Western medicine, a few hundred. So it's the and vibrational medicine stems from the ancient, ways. So that's
hmm
why I'm using that as an analogy. It's not me going down another rabbit hole. It's just that's where
Yeah.
vibrational medicine comes from. It's the old ways. It's
Mm.
the in my world the old ways are Celtic as opposed to Eastern medicine, but it's still the old ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a fascinating thing. And the more you can bring color in to your life, and the color you need, I'm not talking about um, you know, grabbing color because Peta-Ann said so. No, no, no. Oh no. I'm all about it's called dopamine dressing as well, if you want to take the clothing side of it. It's
hmm
about what brings, what increases your dopamine, what brings you joy.
hmm
Um, it doesn't so that could be any color. It could be black. Black brings me joy. Wearing black brings me joy. And that's because, part of it wearing black is it sends out a vibration. Please don't talk to me. So that brings me joy. And I know that sounds weird, but in some occasions, I prefer it if people would just let me be.
hmm
And that's my neurodivergence. So yeah, so I'm not suggesting that's everyone. But it's things like that as well. Like the actual psychology behind the colors that then leads to the vibration that you put out as well.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah.
That's so interesting. Hmm. Really, really interesting. God, a
Yeah.
rabbit hole you could go down for
Oh,
sure.
there's so many. You start to look at like the frequency of notes and the
hmm
linked motions as well. So the higher the frequency, the more energizing, the more uplifting, and the same with color.
hmm
So the higher end of the spectrum of color is energizing, uplifting. The middle section, the green, is the harmonizing and the balancing. That's the same with musical notes. And then
hmm
the lower frequencies, which are the reds and the oranges, that's all about your grounding.
Mm.
And that's the same with musical notes. The lower, like your really low bass notes, that's your
hmm
grounding notes. So it's really fascinating how,
It's
again,
really
they all sort of,
fascinating.
yeah, they all sort of link together. So yeah, so. And then if you throw chakras on top of that, if I was a sound healer, I could, really go into the chakra side of it as well. But there's,
Wow.
it's a similar process of
Mm.
linking the notes and the frequencies back to the chakra to balance
Yeah.
the chakra, and we use color to balance chakras, of course.
Yeah.
And also from a Reiki point of view, there's a process I use. But yeah,
It's really interesting when you were just talking about vibrations and colors. This really funny thing came to my mind. I stumbled across this lady on Instagram, and she does energy healing.
yeah.
But she does it, she must have a farm or a big plot of land, and she does it outside
Oh, I love it.
in the midst of her herd of horses.
Oh, okay. That's
And
intriguing.
she works with the horses apparently, and she doesn't
Oh,
force anything.
yeah,
But she every client she has obviously different vibration and different needs. So the horses kind of pick up on that. And sometimes when I think if I get this right, apologies if I don't, when someone needs a lot of cleansing and clearing and the energy needs to be really kind of calibrated, all of a
yeah.
sudden the whole herd comes in and they all have like the heads on the
Oh,
client
bless.
for like however long it takes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And sometimes it's just one horse there and it's just a bit further away. It's just incredible. I love watching her videos because I find that fascinating how these animals, through obviously the vibration and energy that we send out, they tune into that.
Yep.
So, and that runs with human to human too. So it's not just
Yeah.
animals, but yeah.
Yeah. Animals are actually better at it than we are.
Oh,
I'm
they
just going to
are.
say.
They are. They just know as soon as they meet you, yeah,
Yep.
no.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
They do.
And I
So,
know that we're both cat people. So
yeah,
cats for me have the best radar. Because if they don't like someone or if they think their energy is off,
they
they
just,
they will not be anywhere near you. They
yeah.
won't even come to the door. And I've got actually got a puppy upstairs. There's a puppy who lives upstairs.
Yeah.
Um, and if an energy that is off,
Mm-hmm.
her name is Popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Popcorn just goes off. You don't hear her
Mm-hmm.
until there is and you look outside. Yeah, no, yeah, you're right, Popcorn. There's something amiss in that energy field. So it's
Yes.
really fascinating. And I'd probably like to watch these little horsies doing what they're doing because that's
Yeah.
intriguing. That is
Yeah.
intriguing. Because I know,
I
like,
go
when
on.
I'm doing energy work, and a lot of people who I know who do energy work, their animals will join, depending on who is, what the client needs. If the
Mm-hmm.
animal will come in, as long as, the person's not allergic, clearly.
Of
But
course, yeah.
yeah, but I know my cat will come in, for particular clients,
Mm-hmm.
and not for others. So yeah, it's really
Interesting.
fascinating to watch. Yeah.
Yeah. And going back to like the music piece, I remember we
Yes.
had we had siblings, two tuxedo cats, unfortunately no longer with us. But the girl, we figured out that she loves sort of the low-key jazz music.
Nice.
So every time we on telly we had like the radio stations. And every time we put it on the jazz channel, it was like this sort of if you're in a bar setting, like this low vibe
Yeah,
jazz, like
yeah.
really soothing.
Yeah.
She would just zone out.
Oh, I love that.
And every time
I
we switched
love
it, she
that.
was like, "Why did you turn it off?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was so interesting. Whereas her
Yeah.
brother would not react at all. He was just like,
Oh,
whatever.
wow.
So it's that's what I mean.
Yeah.
If we as people open our eyes and ears, even to the people around us, well, how do they react to certain energy and sound? I think light bulbs will go off.
Oh, yeah. Well, I hope they do.
I hope
Because
so.
I mean, it's definitely, there is so much science.
Mm-hmm.
If you're sort of thinking, oh, she's a bit left field for me, do some research on the science of
Yeah.
and just simply the connection between, or vibrational medicine for starters, but the
Mm-hmm.
connection between light and or sound and music, or sound and music, Peta-Ann, light and sound.
I didn't even click.
Color and music.
Color and
And
music.
you'd be surprised at exactly how connected color and
Mm-hmm.
music are. It's fascinating, even down to, crazy stuff like a scale is 7 notes. There's 7 main colors in a rainbow. So each color, so the first number one is, let me look, G. is
Mm-hmm.
red. And then orange is A. I've got a list here because there's no way I can rote learn with my little dyslexic brain. Um, so the third color is yellow, and that is B. And then fourth color is green, and that is C. And five is turquoise, that's D. And 6E is blue, and then F is violet. So it's just, yeah.
Amazing.
There's this whole, and there's even a Fibonacci spiral that breaks down all the notes as well in color.
Mm.
It's fantastic. I
Rabbit
love
hole,
it.
here I come.
Oh
See you in a
yeah, yeah,
year's
yeah.
time.
Yeah, it is absolutely fascinating. And that's the Fibonacci, where I was talking before about the center point with
Hmm.
notes, the A note and the link to the sacral, the orange.
Yeah,
That's from the Fibonacci spiral. So,
this
so
is incredible.
fun.
Honestly, I need to really take some time out and let my brain absorb everything because there's
Oh,
so
I know.
much, not just from yourself, but like other people I talk to. There's so much really, really interesting things
Yeah,
and they share, but
yeah.
you really have to
I'm
take the time out to digest it and then dive into it. So,
Yeah, yeah, no, I
hmm.
hear you. I'm doing I do that every day. It's like, oh, I so need to know more about that.
Yeah, and then 6 hours later, oops, I've not done my work.
Well, that's right. I was meant to do that.
Well,
Yes,
now I think we've given quite a bit of sort of info where people can, start to think about it. But if
yes.
you could share or leave one kind of message for anyone that's here and thinks, oh, that sounds interesting, but I don't know where to start or I don't know what to do. What's the first thing you would tell someone that's kind of interested in it but doesn't know where to go? Where do I start? What do I do? Where do I read? Anything? What would you say?
Carl, yeah, I was gonna say Carl's Davidoff, but he's the guru of color. So for me, the first thing is to really understand what is your favorite color. Just as
A good
simple
one.
as that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a favorite color, think about it
Mm-hmm.
because that's for me is the key to um, understanding what frequencies you work best with, I suppose is the easiest way of saying it.
Mm-hmm.
So really, really think about what is your favorite color? And then from there, what colors do you wear the most?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a color like pink, baby pink? So Barbie pink, baby pink? No, just no. Well,
Mm-hmm.
it's not allowed in my purview. And the reason for that is linked to emotions because color links to emotion. So there's the self-love, there's all this sort of stuff that
Yeah.
that I am not at one with yet.
Mm-hmm.
So pink is the enemy to
Out.
me because of that.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
And and I've written blogs about how much I despise pink. So so yeah, so for me it's about working out what is your favorite color,
Mm-hmm.
what is the color that you really dislike, and then try and understand, start to do the research. What is
Mm-hmm.
the emotion that's linked to that color? Does that then resonate something?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then if you need to talk to a color therapist, have a chat to a color therapist, find a color therapist, because one of the things, and also I do color analysis as well, so it's about what colors work best
Mm-hmm.
for you when you wear them. It doesn't mean you have to wear them, but it's
Mm-hmm.
so you can, what looks best on your skin. Um, but for me, it's about understanding that knowing that those things about what is your favorite color and what is the color you really don't like
Mm-hmm.
then leads to an understanding of you. It's that simple for me, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether it's simple or not, but for me it's simple. And then you can use those colors to find the music as well.
I was just about to ask because that might be an interesting thing to figure out too. If you know your favorite color and your least favorite color, what frequencies are those? And
Yeah,
what does that kind of mean for you, maybe on an emotional level as well? Does that match up
yeah,
with the color? It will do, I would assume.
yeah. Oh,
It has
absolutely,
to. So
absolutely.
yeah.
So yes, and I mean, there's so many resources out there. I wouldn't suggest a single, like,
Yeah.
to send you to a single thing, but I'm sure it's Carl's. It could be Carl. It's Davidoff is the color dude, and Gerber is the
Mm-hmm.
vibrational medicine person. So they're the two main. Um, what are they called?
People, I don't know, experts,
Experts.
maybe
Oh,
forefathers or the fathers of their genre. I don't know. The go-to
academia,
people.
academia,
Yeah.
whatever, the professors. Let's go with the professors.
Professors. Yes. Excellent.
So yeah, so for me, that's where I would start. Well, that's
Mm-hmm.
where I start. Yeah, I've always started. What is your
Simple.
favorite color? And I luckily have known my favorite color since I was, potentially born. So since I was 3, I've been choosing a particular color purple, and it is a very particular color purple. It's not just and I do get into arguments with people about whether
Okay.
something
Well,
is
I
purple.
won't. Because I
I apologize.
anyway,
Does
that's
that answer your
okay.
question?
Yes, it does. Yeah, just a very simple and straightforward thing anyone can start with. So that's great. Thank you. All right. I think we're going to leave it at that. We don't want to overwhelm any of the B-siders with any of this, but I hope that's given you guys a really an interest or a bit of a, oh, I want to know more kind of mood. And yeah, always open to hear from anyone that has tried it. Please let us know because we're curious people. We do want to know.
Absolutely. Yes.
So please, yeah, if you feel like it, please get in touch. Otherwise, thanks for being here beside us. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate you all. And yeah, I'll be back soon again with another episode. Until you all take care and much music and love as always. Until next time. Bye. Bye-bye.